and Warner Wolf.
I didn't know Kyle as well as most of you, but I knew him well enough to know that he was a very humble man. Also, he never took himself too serious. And he had an interesting sense of humor. I remember interviewing Kyle one time and asking him about the famous 1958 overtime game against the Colts. And I said, Kyle, remember that play where Charlie Connerly hit you, 62-yard gain, and you ran down the field and then fumbled, and Alex Webster picked up the ball and ran it to the 1? Yeah, he says, I remember that, sure, I remember that play. He says, I called that play. He says, but I didn't call the fumble. I've been influenced indirectly. Kyle never knew this, and I just told Nina about a year ago. I've been influenced by Kyle and Nina. It's strange how life works. I was 12 years old, December 1949, sitting at home working on a model airplane. That's what we used to do in those days. And I had the radio on. And there was this description of this game. I'd never seen a college football game, nor had I paid much attention to it. I was basically interested in boxing and baseball and would listen to it on the radio, everything. Well, this Saturday, I was listening to this college football game. And the announcer, I believe, was Bill Stern. And he was so excited. I'm saying, wow, listen to this guy. What a way to make a living. He's describing the game. And at the end, he said, and this, Notre Dame won the game. But that's not the story. He said, the story is Kyle Rote. And as Bill Stern was describing the plays, I was picturing Kyle in my head. I was actually seeing him run down the field. He said, Kyle Rote ran for 115 yards, threw for 145 yards, punted for an average of 48 yards a kick, scored 3 touchdowns, and kicked 2 extra points. He said, that's the story. And I said, wow. I said, now that's interesting. So you don't have to win. That's not necessarily the story. And I always remember that. And I have applied that to my sportscast. It was the first time I was aware of something like that. So Kyle influenced my career. Now the second thing, believe it or not, 2 months later, you're talking about over 50 years ago, I went to high school. And there was this, in those days we called them gym teachers. There was no such thing as a phys ed teacher. It just didn't. It was a gym teacher. Well, there was this guy. He was an elderly gentleman. You know, of course, when you're 12 years old, somebody 40 is an old guy. Well, this gentleman, he was the gym teacher. And I had him for 3 years. And one of the exercises was you had to climb a rope which was attached to the ceiling. Well, not everyone could do it. But it didn't matter, because this gentleman would come over to you afterwards and say, son, don't worry about it. You're a good sport. You're a good sport. He would go up to everyone sooner or later and say, you're a good sport. And I always remember that. I said, gee, you don't have to be great. It's, hey, there's another side of this. You're a good sport. And that gym teacher was Captain Lamack. We would call him Captain Lamack. And Captain Lamack was Nina Rote's father. So both Kyle and Nina influenced my life indirectly. Nina wrote a note to me that said, "I pray that Kyle is up there meeting my father." I'm sure he is.